Hey, I guess you want to follow along on one of my workouts. I would love that. But I think there are some basic rules we need to establish and things we should go over first. So let's do that. Your safety is my #1 priority when making these workouts. So please, go see your physician if you have any underlying heart conditions before performing one of these workouts. To monitor your heart rate throughout the workout, if you have an Apple Watch or a wearable, that's preferable.
While we're on the note of safety, remember, I can't physically fix your form if I'm not with you in person. So I need you to replicate these movement patterns to the best of your ability with perfect form. You're going to also hear audible cues. So if you have headphones in loud environments, it's going to help you understand what you should and shouldn't be doing.
To get the most out of these workouts, simply set your phone or tablet up, follow along with the instructions and try to keep pace, and just work hard. Some workouts might use equipment where it's unsafe to watch the video while trying to perform the exercise at the same time. So for these, I advise watch the video, then rewind, set your phone up off to the side, and then perform the exercise while only listening to the audible cues. Use your own best judgment for this. Oof, that made things awkward.
And that's essentially it. Follow these workouts, work as hard as you possibly can, and on a week-to-week basis, make sure you're thinking of increasing one variable like weight or reps or tempo or something. The last thing I want to say is just a thank you. The fact that you're here with me today tells me that you're willing to dedicate energy and time to try to better yourself, and the fact that you're using me as a resource to do so really does mean a lot. So thank you with all my heart, and enjoy your workout. In today's workout, our agenda is focusing on the anterior side of our body, or the front. We're going to be doing a lot of knee flexion dominant movement patterns, working out our quads, as well as pressing movement patterns to work out our chest and shoulders. Today, we're only going to need a few pieces of equipment that we can easily do from home. We're going to need a lacrosse ball, a foam roller, a set of mini bands, a resistance band that we can also set up in a doorway, as well as a kettlebell or a dumbbell. Without further ado, let's get working out. Before we get started with today's workout, I want us to do a couple of minutes of soft tissue work, just help promote blood flow. It's going to help us activate the musculature a little bit better in the workout. We're going to be able to move better and get into positions a little bit easier because we're not as tight. And it's just a safe way for us to wake some tissue up before we go to use it. So we're going to need a lacrosse ball as well as a foam roller to start off. Now today we're doing the anterior, the front side of our body. So let's kind of work on that. So first let's start with our upper body. Let's take our lacrosse ball and let's lay face down and let's work on where our shoulder and pec meet each other. Okay, our anterior delt. We're going to lay face down, taking our hand, placing it behind our back. And again, we're going to be searching for sensitive tissue with the lacrosse ball. Now I set a timer for 45 seconds. And we're, again, putting most of our weight on this side of our body. I'm searching for tissue that's painful. Once I find that spot, I bring my elbow up. I press my elbow down. You don't have to do that. You can just stay here. Breathing, trying to relax on the ball is extremely important. If you tense the tissue, you're not going to be able to get as deep and you'll be more on the superficial top level. Again, movement, circles, whatever you want to do. You can rotate your torso left to right. Ideally, we would be doing this almost every day throughout our body on tissue that's tight, that needs to be lengthened. It's tough. We don't usually spend the time throughout our day to do these things. So before our workout is a wonderful time to just spend a couple of minutes. We get to feel our body out. Maybe one side feels tighter than the other. Maybe we have more sensitivity there, so that side's maybe activating more. Again, this is just giving us feedback on what's really going on with our body. We also now get to focus on the task at hand. Today we're going to be doing knee flexion dominant movements, meaning we're going to be working our quads a lot. So if you're anyone that has, knee pain, chronic knee pain from life, or you've hurt your knee in the past, you need to be safe on today's movement patterns. But again, if you can move through these ranges of motion and you're not getting pain, it's going to help bulletproof your knees down in the future, help work on stability of the joint. For our upper body, we're going to be doing some pressing movement patterns, working our shoulders, our chest. We have a lot of great stuff today. Again, we're focusing on the front side of us. All right, a couple more seconds here, deep breaths. In a perfect world, we'd all be getting massages weekly, and this would help then keep the tissue supple in our body. It would help it stay hydrated. We're gonna move better. There's our 45 seconds. If you need more time, please spend more time doing this warm-up and this soft tissue work, but I just want us to get right to the workout. I know we all got busy days. Next, we're gonna set another timer. We're gonna lay face down and we're gonna work on our quads. So while we're laying face down, I want to use my arms like a plank almost, and I want to pull myself all the way up until the foam roller is close to my quad, and then I'm gonna push myself all the way down. Now, again, the goal is to find tender tissue and then to work on that. So if I find a spot that stands out, maybe I just go into knee flexion and extension. I try to activate and move the musculature around. Maybe I rotate my leg a little to work more of my adductors. Maybe I go over toward my IT band. Again, it's appropriate that I was talking about massages and how we should get them more frequently, invest in ourselves. I got my boy Kevin Zay, Myokinetic Massage. He is the greatest massage therapist in New York City. If anyone has free time, again, treat yourself, love your body. He is the guy to go to. That's 45 seconds there. He understands anatomy and kinesiology better than anyone, and he's a great guy, so he's a great guy to support. Again, 45 seconds on the other side. Okay. Inside of the leg, outside, wherever you find that tissue tender. Again, a lot of folks, we sit most of the day. The tissue of our legs get real tight. We don't go through these long ranges of motion that we need to. So today's workout is going to help us get into some positions that we need to get in, because if we maintain that range of motion and we get strong in that range of motion, we'll keep it forever. I love the phrase, if you don't use it, you lose it. And with human movement, I think that is so applicable. So take your body through all the ranges of motion that you could go through as a baby, and you'll be able to maintain that. Stop moving, and you'll lose it. Deep breaths. Again, if you need to spend more time doing this, please. I want you to feel comfortable and ready to work out, and I want the tissue to be supple and healthy. So everyone's body is going to be very different in the starting point you're starting with today's workout. So next, we finished some of the soft tissue work. I just want us to work on thoracic extension and rotation. So what we're going to do now is take our foam roller, place it on our upper back, around our thoracic spine, kind of upper chest area. From here, I'm going to put my hands on my head. I'm going to go into a posterior pelvic tilt. We're going to do 3 reps of 3 breaths. Deep breath out. I'm trying to relax my upper body, going into thoracic extension while maintaining a posterior tilt. Okay, deep breath out. Take a new breath in. Every breath, I'm just trying to relax and conform my upper body more and more. Okay, now I move the foam roller an inch or two. Same concept, posterior tilt, deep breath out. Again, if you're someone with extremely kyphotic posture, by that I mean rounded forward, you're going to need to be slow throughout this process, because we're not going to be able to fix our posture in a day or in a month or in even a year. If you've been in bad positioning most of your life, that tissue is it's almost set in stone. We need to slowly try to lengthen the tight tissue and strengthen the weak tissue. And over time, we'll fix that relationship in your posture. Next, we're going to be on our side. One leg up at 90 degrees. We're going to have one hand out to the side. I want us to go through thoracic rotation, 3 reps of keeping our knee on the foam roller and trying to pin our shoulder blade all the way down to the other side of us. We come on back. Deep breath out. If you're someone that plays a rotational sport, this will come in handy. This will make you a better athlete. 3. If you're someone, you might notice you have asymmetries, right? You go to do this on both sides and one side has less range of motion. Maybe that's from you playing a sport. Maybe it's from you at work and how you rotate at your desk, or maybe it's from your seatbelt and how you rotate one. It's amazing how many things in our lifestyle affect our movement patterns, and these asymmetries just create bigger risks of injury. And then we just don't move as well as we get older. They accentuate. So that's it for the soft tissue work. We're going to take a second. We're now going to move on to some movement prep, warm up, and activate the tissue we're going to work today. I'll see you there. Next, we got some movement prep. We're just going to put ourselves through some similar ranges of motion that are applicable to today's workout, as well as just activate some of the tissue that we're going to be working. The only piece of equipment we're going to need here is a light resistance band, something rather thin. The first thing we're going to start with is a lateral lunge matrix. So what we're going to do is work in the sagittal plane, and we're going to work on warming up our hips and our shoulders all in one. So I got this resistance band, and I'm going to apply some pressure, pulling it apart laterally. Okay? Once I start doing that, I bring it to my chest as if I'm doing an overhead press. Okay? I keep vertical forearms. While I keep this tension, I do a lateral lunge. I push my hips open, I go into side bend, and then I press my arms all the way over my head, locking out my shoulders, bringing it back, tilt, back. Now, when I step and cross over, I bring my same leg that stepped over in the front, I side bend, and I press, okay? We're doing 10 reps per side. Side bend, press from that lateral lunge, step over, cross, side bend, press. Now, again, we get to take our hips through a very large range of motion. We now get to do a little bit of side bending with our spine, right? And we're taking our shoulders through a range of motion that we get to activate the tissue that we're going to be using today. So again, we turn this into a dance. Side bend. The side bend is so important, guys. This will draw some attention if you do this at the gym. Went to a wonderful seminar, Gray Cook Institute, as well as the 3D workshop in San Luis Obispo at Gimnasio. And we just talked about how do you warm someone up as quick as possible, safely, while taking all of their joints through the max range of motion you can, right? That's what warm-up should be, that's 10. How do we efficiently get you to warm up in all ranges of motion in all joints quickly? And this is part of that system, and I really agree with that, so I appreciate them for teaching me. Again, lateral lunge, side bend, press, step over, press. I'm telling you what, my shoulders are burning right now. Deep breath, super important. This feels like part of the workout, but it's not. Keep that band pull apart. I just felt myself getting lazy there. Also, you might notice, are you tighter on one side? You might learn some asymmetries within your body. Almost there. Make sure that knee is pushed out and is not collapsing in. Last one. As a golfer, I love the side bend. When I finally make contact with the ball, that's the position I gotta be in. Okay, next, we're gonna do some banded thrusters. I want us to step inside this band. We're gonna keep warming up our shoulders and hips. Band to our chest, we pull it apart. We're gonna do 15 repetitions of squatting, standing, and pressing the band overhead. Again, I'm trying to take our hips and our shoulders through long ranges of motion that we're gonna be needing for today. Deep breaths, try to nose breathe. At the top, make sure you're pulling that band apart. Hands are nice and wide, not narrow together. Almost there. Vertical forearms. Two more. Good breathing, make sure those knees are being pushed out, they're not collapsing in. I don't know, maybe one for good luck. Whew. There you have it. I'm nice and warmed up, I'm toasted, so ready to work hard. I'll see you guys in a second for the workout. Let's get this workout started. Today our structure is 3 exercises in each circuit. When we finish all 3, you get a short rest, then we come back and we perform 3 rounds of each of these. Now, the first round of things, we're only gonna need 1 kettlebell about medium size, as well as something that's like a bench or a box, something you can put your foot on, a couch, anything at home. The first exercise we're gonna perform, Bulgarian Split Squat, wonderful variation, single-legged knee flexion, working our quad, hamstring, glute, and some stability of our lower extremities. When we're finished with that, we're gonna do a push-up, but we're gonna do a staggered push-up where one hand is elevated, so it changes the range of motion and tension on one side. Third, final thing, we're doing a leg lift pullover, a way for us to keep a hollow belly, work our core, as well as work our lats and stretch our shoulder out. So a lot of good things coming. Enough talking, let's get started. First thing I mentioned before, Bulgarian split squat. So how we're gonna do this. If you're standing up against the object that's back behind you that you're putting your foot on, and you match your feet up 1, 2, 3, wherever my toes are, I then set myself down. This is about the best positioning you can get. Now, first thing, if you're using weight, you can hold the weight to your chest like a goblet squat. You can hold it on the side that the knee is down, side that the leg is down. I'm gonna hold it on the opposite side working, so my right arm's gonna hold the weight. I have a slight hinge forward. I'm not staying fully vertical. That'll enable me to work my back leg a little too much. Slight hinge forward. I'm gonna drive through this foot with a neutral spine and stand all the way up tall. Okay, now at the top, I squeeze my butt, I squeeze my belly, keep good balance. We're gonna do 12 reps per leg, okay? I shift my weight back, again, torso's forward, Stand tall, squeeze this glute. I'm bracing my belly. I'm pushing my butt back. Again, I'm not staying just really vertical upright. Again, a little bit of hip hinge. I'm making sure that my knee is tracking over my toes and it's not collapsing in. To effectively do that, I think of corkscrewing my foot to activate this glute. Trying to keep good posture with my shoulders. Such a great lower body exercise, so much stability involved. Really isolates the front leg. 12, make sure the back foot is relaxed and you're not digging your toes down, more likely to overwork. Okay, keeping the foot exactly where it was. Same concept, slight hinge forward, all the way down. This is such a great exercise too for isolating the front leg. You'll notice any asymmetries on each side. Maybe you have less balance on one side. Maybe you're not as strong. Maybe you feel certain tissue overactive. Again, back leg is doing as little as possible, keeping all that weight forward. So many ways to do this. Loading wise, almost there. Ooh, last two. Quads are burning. Last one. And good, okay. 12 finished there. Next, I'm gonna move this bench out of the way. I want us to work on those push-ups. Now, I mentioned staggered, right? So what I'm gonna do is put the kettlebell on one side. We're gonna do 8 repetitions per side. So one hand is elevated, feet are back behind me. I'm gonna come all the way down to the bottom of my push-up, not allowing myself to rotate, shoulder blades retracted, and then I drive up, lock out both arms. Now this side is gonna have a longer range of motion. So the distribution of my weight is gonna be a little different. It's really important, your elbows are tucked in by your side. At the bottom, we pinch our shoulder blades. I'm not internally rotated. Retract down and back. Again, I recommend us doing 8 on each arm. 8, I roll this to the other side. Same concept over here, 8. Now, if this is too easy, remember, you can do as many as you'd like, but you're gonna have to do an even number. I'm making sure I'm not arching my lower back. Go into a good posterior tilt. If you start to get to failure, you can do these from your knees. Whatever you need to do. But we need around 12 to 20 reps to be about failure for us. One more for good luck. Oh, okay, good. I mean, that was pretty tough for me, so I think 8 and 8 is the right call for most people. Okay, third thing, we're gonna be doing a pullover and a leg lift, all in one. So I lay face up. I grab the horns of the kettlebell. My legs are up in the air. Most important part, posterior tilt. I'm pushing my lower back down to the ground. Now, every time I pull my legs up in the air, I pull the kettlebell over. So I'm holding that posterior tilt, legs, arms come up, I touch, and now I slowly descend down, pull back up. 15 total. Belly down, most important part, legs come up. Really fighting to let my back touch the ground and stop it from arching. If you start to arch your back, you can do one leg at a time to make it easier. You can do dead bugs instead. Again, however you need to regress it so that your core does all the work. If you have bad shoulder mobility and you can't stretch your arms out, keep your elbows a little more bent. If you have good shoulder mobility, try to challenge yourself. Really stretch those arms overhead. Ooh, keep that belly down. Tough stuff. 3 more. Oh, touch the ground back behind you. Oh, last one. Belly down and pull over. Extra rep going in reverse. Whew. And there you have it. That's our first grouping of things. We're gonna take a short rest. I need it. Grab some water. We're gonna meet back. We got 2 more rounds, so I'll see you in a second.
Next circuit, same concept, 3 more exercises. And again, only piece of equipment we're gonna need here is a medium-sized kettlebell. The first movement pattern we're gonna do, single arm kettlebell thruster, getting our heart rate up, working our full body, going into a squat, standing, overhead press, great movement pattern. When we're finished doing that, we're gonna do planked sliders. From a push-up position, we're gonna slide a kettlebell side to side from one side of our waist to the other, working anti-extension, anti-rotation, great core exercise. Third, final thing, more core. We're gonna do plank to push-up, but we're also gonna isolate our triceps a little by going from plank to what it sounds like to a push-up position. So 3 good exercises, let's get started. Like I said before, first movement pattern is gonna be kettlebell thrusters. What we're gonna think of here is we need to clean the weight to get it to our shoulder first. So we wanna have a neutral spine, nice and upright. I stand tall, I twist my wrist, I get the weight to my shoulder. Now, once it's here, I'm gonna squat all the way down. I think of opening my hips up, pushing my knees out, externally rotating my feet. I stand tall, press my arm all the way over my head. We're gonna do 8 per side. So let me get set up here, start from the bottom, clean that weight up to my shoulder, vertical forearm, arms close to my shoulder, squat, stand, 8 reps per side. Deep breaths in, going down, out at the top. Again, as I squat, my knees aren't collapsing in, external rotation. I'm making sure that my arm is finishing right next to my ear, last rep, right? Vertical, not out in front of me, right next to my ear. Switch sides. Again, give you more from the side. Try to keep a vertical torso angle in my squat. When I press the weight overhead, I'm not arching my back. I'm standing tall, squeezing my butt and belly, finishing right next to that ear. Great full body movements. If you need to do more volume because the weight you have at home isn't heavy enough, you can double the reps, whatever you need to do. Again, here we're doing 8 and 8. And 8, good. Okay. Next, I mentioned that plank kettlebell slider. So from a push-up position, I want the kettlebell to be outside of my hips, okay? So from here, I'm gonna reach with one hand. The kettlebell's at about waist height. My right hand reaches, I slide it to my right side, switch hands, slide it to my left. Now as I'm doing this, I'm resisting the urge of rotation with my hips, and I'm resisting arching my lower back, right? I want posterior pelvic tilt. We're doing 10 per side. I hold my breath, I brace my core, and again, I really try to fight the urge of rotating by preloading my hips to begin with, knowing where I'm gonna need more weight distributed when I slide this weight. The further you slide the weight side to side, the harder you're gonna make it on yourself. Deep breaths. Again, great way to isometrically work your shoulders and your pecs, while at the same time really working your core in a couple different functional ways. This is really multifaceted, multi-purposed, purposeful. And okay, that's 10 and 10. Woo. Core is burning, but guess what? We got more. So I'm gonna set this off to the side. I'm gonna set a timer for 45 seconds. We're gonna do plank to push-up. So what's a plank to push-up? Exactly what it sounds like. We're gonna start in a plank position. Then from here, I extend one arm, and then the other arm, and then I go back down. We're gonna do left, right for 20 seconds, and then the opposite way, 20 seconds, about 45 total seconds, okay? So, let's get started. Plank position, lock out, lock out. Ooh, as I'm doing this, I wanna think about keeping my hips neutral, right? I'm not rotating again. Again, I'm also not going into extension. Here we get to work our triceps a little bit. Now we're gonna go the other way. Deep breaths. Again, brace that belly. Again, this is a great way if you're tired and you just want to hold this position, do what you need to do. Again, only your core should be working. And I'll finish it out. Oh, good. Whew. There you have it. Awesome circuit. A couple of tough core exercises. I'll see you guys in a second. We got a couple more rounds and then we got a new circuit. I'll see you soon. Third, final circuit, almost there, guys, congrats. Finish line's right around the corner. The only equipment we're gonna need here, 2 different kettlebells, a medium and a light, I recommend. First movement pattern we're gonna perform. We're gonna do a rotational lunge, and we're gonna work on opening up our hip, going through a little thoracic rotation, but we're gonna add a kettlebell clean to make it a little more complex and fun. Second movement pattern, we're then gonna perform a single-legged glute bridge hold with a single arm floor press as well. So we're gonna work our glute as well as our chest from a pressing movement, a little complex stability involved, you're gonna love it. Third, final thing, we're gonna perform a split squat Pallof press. We're gonna work on core strength while holding a position and pressing a load slowly away from us that's trying to rotate us, and we're resisting that urge. So let's get started. The first thing I mentioned was that rotational kettlebell clean. So I'm gonna start with a light load, okay? We're gonna use a light kettlebell. Now, what's the rotational lunge part? A rotational lunge. While standing, we're gonna think about stepping. If we're at noon, I'm gonna step to 9 o'clock and I'm gonna open up my hip. So I turn my foot open. I turn my torso in this direction, and then from here, I go into a lunge, right? 90 degrees. Now, the opposite hand is gonna reach with the load, the inside of our foot. When I stand, I clean it all the way back up to my shoulder. Again, I step, I reach the inside of my foot, touch the floor, all the way up. As you'll notice, this leg is locked out. We're doing 10 reps per side, so let's get started. So I take that step, I open up my hip. Again, locked out leg. You can come up onto your heel, or you can keep your foot flat, like so. We're doing 10 reps. Open that hip up. Again, we get to go through a big range of motion with our hip. At the same time, I get to go work on some thoracic rotation, trying to be explosive, having a little bit of fun with our lower body work with this kettlebell clean added in. Again, depending on your mobility, maybe this is all you can get to, but that should just open up our eyes to the potential that we have soon to try to access that range of motion. Again, big step, I'm gonna step to 3 o'clock, open up that hip, touch the floor, clean it back up to my arm. Try to get to 90-degree knee flexion. I got a nice vertical torso, I'm not rounding with bad posture. Reach, touch, explode up. You can do this with a dumbbell. Kettlebell is nice because it's a little bit taller. Touching the floor is your marker of knowing when you're finished. 8, 2 more. Explode, 9. Really working on external rotation, opening up that hip, making sure my knee stays tracking over my toes. Good, okay, next. I'm gonna go up and wait a little bit. I'm gonna lay face up. Let's go over that floor press, single arm press. So, first thing I'm gonna do, safely get a load to my shoulder, and I'm gonna pull my shoulder blades back under me. Now, once I have my shoulder blades back under me, my right arm is pressing, my left leg is gonna do the hip thrust. So, I push my hips up in the air, only my left leg is pressing. Now when I'm here, my shoulder blades are under me, and I press this arm up. Elbow comes down to the floor, I press all the way up. I hold this glute bridge position the whole time. We're doing 12 reps per side. I gotta resist the urge of rotating. I gotta keep this good hip extension. Great way to work your glutes, and at the same time, work your upper body, especially if you don't have much load at home. Now the kettlebell might be pressing on your forearm a little bit. Make sure you rotate your wrist a little bit back toward you so it's not so challenging or so much pressure on you. Okay, 12. Get this to the other side of me, same concept. Get this kettlebell into a good position, shoulder blades are back, hips up, right leg only. Squeeze that glute. Make sure the elbow comes close to your side. It's not wide when you're doing your pressing. Lock out right over your shoulder. Really squeeze that glute, tight belly. Almost there. Keep those glutes firing, hips high. 2 more. It's a great way to make a floor press or an exercise that might be relatively easy because of the loads that you have at home and you don't have any weights to make it challenging. Okay, third final thing, I'm gonna grab a band that's over here. Now, what we're gonna be doing, we're doing a Pallof press from a split stance position. So, 1 foot out in front, foot back behind me, almost locked out. Interlock my hands on the band. I wanna press the band away from myself at a slow pace, resisting the urge of rotation, right? That's the whole exercise here for my core. We're gonna do 12 reps per side. So, shoulder blades back, slowly press my arms out.
And slowly bring them back in. Deep breaths the whole time. Again, resisting rotation. Oh, Siri, she's talking to me. Deep breaths, upright torso, symmetrical. I lock both arms out, one elbow's not bent. Again, time under tension is important, so if you're going too fast, you're not doing yourself much good. 11, last one. 12. Okay, next side. I'll show you it from a slightly different angle. Okay, again, hips are pressed forward, one leg out in front, the leg that's further away from the band. I slowly press my arms out. Again, resisting rotation. 12 total. Deep breath, nice and slow. I think about pinching my shoulder blades when I get back, protracting, separating them at the end. Again, slow, slow, slow. If you need to make this harder, walk further away from your band at home. 11, last one. 12. Whew. Okay, there you have it. There's our 3 exercises. That's the last circuit, guys. So let's finish a couple more rounds of this up, and then I'll see you at the finish line. Say thank you. See you soon. Congratulations on your anterior workout. Hard day, I'm sweating, I know you must be as well. We worked on really important stuff today, like strengthening connective tissue around your knee, stabilizing the joint, making it more resilient. I know you're gonna be stronger after this, making it easier to sit and stand as you get older. Your pushing strength is gonna get better. You're gonna build muscle in that area, making you look better, raising your metabolism. But now is the tough part. Consistency. You need to continue to do these workouts, continue to work really hard, eat the right foods, hydrate, get good sleep. But guess what? You're on the journey and the path to being a better you, and I thank you for choosing me as someone to be here with. So congratulations on your anterior workout. I look forward to seeing you at the next one. See you soon.